this will be the dominant 7th chords with 13, a flat 9, a sharp 9, and altered fifths based on the octatonic or diminished scale, the 1, 2, 3, 6 string family, and these will be in the key of A. So if we start on a basic A chord with a lowered ninth here, A, C sharp, E, and B flat. We can move the C to C sharp to give us the sharp 9. And then we can move this E to a G to give us a traditional sharp 9 chord, which would be A, C sharp, G, and C natural. We can move that to the B flat, the flat 9. Also, we can move the G to G flat, which will give us the 13 flat 9. That's an F sharp chord with an A in the bass. Then we can move the bass to G, giving us a movable 13 flat 9 sort of sound on A, of course, resolving. Additionally, if we start back here, we can get a flat 9 and resolve. So we have A, C sharp, E flat, and B flat. Move that to a C up top, to a B flat, and it can resolve to a B as well. Okay, so if we're moving backwards, now we can also get an F sharp or a G natural, so a flat 9, or excuse me, a flat 5, and then voice exchange. So A, C sharp, E flat, and G, and then switch, move this by minor thirds, resolving to a D minor. So any of these sounds are obviously movable. By minor thirds, which will give a regular resolution. Okay. Now, moving backwards, again, we have an A, C, an F, and a G flat, which is like an F chord with a lowered ninth. We can use a sharp 9. So we can move the F sharp or G flat to G sharp or A flat. And again, this is a nice movable form that works well. Now, if we place it on B flat, we're in the key of A, resolving to the D, moving it by minor thirds, resolving to D. So again, a movable form. Additionally, we can compress. We can bring the F sharp down to E and the G up to A. So we have a diminished major 7 on B flat, which kind of comes from a voice exchange from the first. We can hear that sound really works, and that is from the diminished scale. Likewise, we can add one voice goes up, one goes down, and we combine it with the other forms. And we have a diminished scale sound. As long as we move those in minor thirds, we're okay. And the resolution points for the A or the C, I mean, technically that's what we're talking about. A, C, E flat, and G flat. So the G flat obviously will resolve to B or F. There it's resolving to F. The E flat, obviously, any kind of E flat chord resolves to an A flat nicely, or a D. So that's the same. Resolve to a D minor in that case, but it could be major. So either one, the C resolving to an F, the A resolving to some kind of D, or a D minor is okay as well. Okay, so either sound works for resolution. Moving further along with this, in terms of sequences, obviously the diminished scale has a lot of them. So voice exchange works well. So if you have one form, like the 13 with the flat 9, merely exchange the outer two voicings, and you have a nice sequence. Okay. Triads obviously work here because we have, within the scale, we have an E flat chord on the A, we have an F sharp chord. So that works fine, it's movable. I can just move it to F sharp and E flat like this. So those are no problem. In addition to the majors, we have minors. So for instance, within this scale, I've got an F sharp minor over B flat, and then I've got an E flat minor over A. And then I have a C minor over G flat, and then I have an A minor over G, which is like an A minor 7, and resolves to an A flat. And I can move a sequence like that. So I have A over C, A over C sharp, A minor over C sharp, F sharp minor over C. I can do E flat minor over A, and then C minor over B flat, and then resolve. So that's a nice sequence as well with minors. Which gives the sound of the scale, obviously. Now, there are infinitely many schemes that we can do here. Traditional diminished chords like this, we can just move one chord member. So here's a traditional diminished on C sharp, G, B flat, and E. Move to F sharp, move to E flat. And now we have an E flat 7, voice exchange. For the outside, we have an F sharp over E. So we have two dominant 7th chords. And those work nice as a resolution. So again, now you can hear the melody. We have a a symmetrical type melody which follows the scale, and then we can just resolve. So again, okay, one voice and then a voice exchange with the dominant 7th chords. Remember, we have 4 dominant 7s. We have a C7 here, we have an A7, an E flat 7 in this case. So here's E flat 7, F sharp 7, C7, E flat 7, and so on, A7 and C7, and that could resolve to an F. Okay. Additionally, we can lock intervals. So if we choose to, we can do 2 inner voices like this. If we want a harsher surface, so to speak, we know that we have minor major 7s in those sequences too. So we have a G minor major 9, which has our 2nd inside. So we have locked 7ths with G and F sharp, and I condense to an C triad with an E flat on top. So I have, and if we move that in a diminished sequence, we have a very nice sequence. And we can do this on E because we have it on G. Start the pattern over on E. Start it over on C sharp. And we have the same thing. We can just resolve the same way. So so it goes from G to E to C sharp to B flat. Now let's start it on E. E to C sharp, B flat to G, and resolve to F or A flat, either one, or D or B. Does not matter. But if you notice, we have this collapsing of intervals. For a harsher surface even, I have a locked 2nd interval, and I move 9ths on the outside. So here I have C and D flat, I have G and A. I keep the C and D flat, I move to A and B flat. And of course that can collapse or stay where it is. I do it a minor third up on B flat and C. I do it on C sharp and E flat, E and F sharp, and I finish my resolution to F or any other appropriate place. Now, having said that, we also can go back to our original voicing. I'm going to move C sharp to E flat. Now, if I do a voice exchange, A and B flat, I still have that second, but with a bit of a moving bass line, which is nice. So I have A, D sharp, E, and B flat switching to B flat, E flat, E, and A, and maybe we move the inner voice like that. So same thing here. We have we can move the top voice as well. So this will move into and then resolving. So we have C, F sharp, G, and D flat, voice exchange, D flat, F sharp, G, and C, and then maybe we get the top voice to move as well. So, and that's a nice resolution to D minor or D major, doesn't matter, or D minor major. Okay. Now, also, if you want a smoother surface, you can use minor 7 flat 5s or regular minor 7 chords, because those have, they're in the cycle as well. For instance, here's an F sharp minor 7, C sharp, F sharp, A, and E, going to a C minor 7 flat 5, moving down to E flat, and moving to A, and moving to C minor, to F sharp minor flat 5, and resolving to F. And that gives you the sound of the scale. Going to A flat in that case. So that gives a somewhat smoother surface sound, and the Impressionists typically use their sounds that way. You know, these minor third sounds. Sounds like an octatonic scale, but it has a slightly smoother surface to it. So in general, those are the diminished sounds. This is just a sampling, and there are many others. For instance, if you go to this minor on top of A minor on top of the C sharp, move the E to G. So you have C sharp, C, G, and A, and move that. You have a traditional sort of 7 sharp 9 sound, which resolves nicely. Now also, this can move. You have a major triad, F sharp over C sharp. So that's a nice sequence as well, and easy to grasp. So if we listen, you have this. So that's an interesting sequence as well. But if you look, you can really see the potential for bass motion. For instance, C over E flat, move the bass to D flat, A over C, move the bass to B flat, and move in sequence. So this can also be done like this. You can then do it ascending as well. Okay, so there are a lot of possibilities. I'd encourage you not to shy away from the more dissonant combinations, because they can tend to be effective as well. And there are some more basic ones. Quickly, just they're more traditional dominant 7. Here's a C7, C, G, B flat, and E. Move the diminished triad down, the bass up to C sharp, F sharp, A, and D sharp, and then resolving to a C sharp diminished over an E flat is fine as well to resolve to A flat. And again, that can be a sequence. So in closing, those are a general brief overview of just some of the basic possibilities of the diminished scale sounds on dominant 7 chords on the 1, 2, 3, 6 string family on the key of A.